to the Black Independent, where we speak truth to power, unapologetically.
For too long, the black vote has been treated like a given, but we're not property. We're not pawns. We are the descendants of those who built this nation. And now, we're demanding tangibles, not tokenism, because the era of blind loyalty is over. This is the Black Independent. Let's get to work.
All right. Good morning.
Let us get to work. Hey, Mona.
Good morning. Hello.
I'm doing really well. So hey, y'all. I'm Jeanette Bradley, artist, education advocate, coming to you from Tampa, Florida. And my co-host today is Mona Judge, entrepreneur, community connector, and somebody who's always got her ear on the ground here in Tampa. She knows what's happening. She knows what's going on. So we're both proud to be part of this Black independent movement. It's a space for folks who are ready to rethink how we show up in politics and who we show up for. That's important. This isn't just about party lines. It's about real power. It's about real issues that affect us, and it's about real talk. So today we're going to jump right into just that. So Mona, we talked a little bit earlier, but we got a district city council seat about to come open. Well, it is open.
It is open. It's in full swing. I think we have 12 candidates that have shown interest qualifying. We'll know who qualify. I don't think all 12 will qualify, and that's
what does it take for the 12 to qualify? Because you're right. I've got the supervisor of election site up on. So you're right. There's 12 folks that have put their hat in the ring. What does it take? What does it take to qualify?
So it either takes paying a fee. And that fee is like 4,000. Let's just say 5,000 because I can't remember off the top of my head. It's 4,000 and something. Or you could go out and get petitions and try to get 1,100 petitions from people who live in that district, and you go qualify that way. So you go qualify either that way. Most people will pay because it's not enough time to try to qualify by petition. Now, it could be done because you could get you got a good support group. It's a few people in that race who can qualify by petitions, and that will indicate to me that they are a strong contender.
If they because they already have a team and that have boots on the ground.
Yes.
How long does it take? Well, when's the deadline actually for getting that petition in?
Okay, let's see. I did write it down. So here's the current schedule. August 11th, just in case we're still trying to get voter registration. So voter registration closed August the 11th. So no kid really, and no responsible parent should have let their kid become 18 and not registered, right? But if someone happened to become 18, you should be registered before you get out of high school. And that's how we have to move forward now. So voter registration.
It should be automatic, just saying.
It definitely should. But, of course, the Republican Party doesn't want that. And even like mail-in ballots. I used to always do mine. I used to always receive a mail-in ballot. But, of course, I like to go and do it in person. But I do the mail-in ballot just to review the ballot, really, to see what's on it.
Yeah.
So from August 11th through the 15th, candidates at that time will start qualifying. So you have from August 11th to August the 15th, the candidates have up until that time to qualify. So that means
that's a little less than a month. That's a little less than a month.
Yes. Okay. So that means they're going to either go down to the supervisor of election and pay, or they have turned in you know,
The
1,100 of those ballots have cleared. Now, what we've learned, because I've worked on ballots initiative, they kick them out. So you have to do them just as the papers say, right? Um, Most people don't date it. Some people don't sign it. Or you have to put your name, fill it out as it appears on your voter registration card. And even like me sometimes. Now my name is Celeste Judge Johnson. Half the times I don't know how my voter registration because I go by Mona Judge or whatever. So I have to look it up to make sure. Or I pull out my card because I keep my card with me.
Mhm.
So but my driver's license still says Celeste Judge Johnson. So
Yeah,
I
I think we really need to understand how important it is that when we complete paperwork that has to do with voting, everything depends on it.
yes, we have to update it. You know what? I even changed my signature because my signature was still the signature. Now, one time I go in and the lady says, "Oh, well, I went to a precinct that I usually don't go to because when we
Mhm.
go to the precincts that you go to, the people know you. You've been going there forever. It's
Exactly.
always the same people,
Yeah.
and everybody knows everybody, right? And she
Right.
says, "Well, this doesn't look like your signature." I said,
Ooh.
"Yeah, well, that's 18 years ago. This is my signature now. Like, let's not do this."
Oh my
And
God.
I was at I was on Southdale Maybury. We was out there canvassing, so I just went in there
Mhm.
and um, but I did end up doing it, and I looked at it, and I said, okay, well, let me go in and change my signature, and I did. So
Yeah.
we have to be responsible and mature about this situation, and we have to be able to move whenever these people want to change the
Exactly.
goalpost. And we
Right.
know these things are happening, so why not update it? If you have moved, you got to
Just do it.
update it.
Yeah,
It takes
just
very
do it.
little time, and you used to be able to do it online. Now you can't do any of this stuff online anymore.
The only thing
So
you can do for the most part is download, a PDF, you fill
yeah,
it out, then you
yes,
can mail it in, but
yeah,
you also can take it in, but you can't just push the button and be done with it. I
right.
know because I changed from Democrat to independent recently and got this unpleasant surprise that there was another step I had to take, and I
Mhm.
think even me, I felt like, "Well, dog, why do I have to take this
Right.
extra step? I didn't
And
have to do this
it's to
before."
deter, it's to deter you from doing it, and
Exactly.
it is to um, because they know most people, whether they're black or white or who, they're lazy, and
Yeah,
and they want you to say, "Oh, it's not that important," but we
that's exactly it.
understand the urgent of the situation,
Right.
right? And everyone has to, and and I say to people like in my family, it I don't know how I became the political person in the family, but I am the one who makes sure that everyone voter stuff is up to par. And even sometimes I go in and check it myself, and
Yeah,
I
you
have to call
can.
one. Yes, you can. Yeah, I go
Yeah.
and I have to call one of my nephews and say, "Hey, I need you to do this, this, and this." And generally, if they get a call from me, they're gonna do it.
I think that practice is, important, that if you have maybe a matriarch or somebody who's politically astute within your
Mhm.
family, assign somebody who goes and looks up everybody in the family to see, if everything is up to date.
Mhm.
We've done that here in this household, but, we've also done it with my brothers and sisters just to make sure that everything is up to date for them, but in their families, they can also do that as well.
Sure, sure,
And I think that probably is one of those things we should be doing. We're not out there protesting, but there are things we can be doing that
absolutely.
make sure that we are represented in this next election.
Yeah, particularly with the mail-in ballots when we have,
Mhm,
like my mother, my all of my aunts, and who are looking for those mail-in ballots to come in. So
mhm.
I will send out a mass email to my cousins to let them know the mail-in ballot is not coming. You have to request it. So go,
Yeah.
and they're pretty good with that, because we're conscious. We can't complain when we're not being part of the process.
Yeah. Yeah. And we typically have not paid attention to the rules,
Yes,
and we have to be proactive, as you say, about
yes,
going on the site. The information is there. Go get it and
and it's
get it.
very easy.
Yeah.
So listen, August the 28th is the last day we could request a mail-in ballot,
Mhm.
because the election early voting starts September the 4th through the 7th. So we need to really be pushing that. August the 28th is the last day that you can request a mail-in ballot. Now, if you happen to miss that day, that just means you have to go and vote in person. But if you have a senior who might be difficult moving, then let's request the mail-in ballot.
Yeah. I think we need to, definitely need to. So, to you folks out there, we have an election that's coming up September 9th, um, for the Tampa City Council District 5. It's typically a black seat, but as demographics change and folks are shifting into East Tampa, other folks are shifting into East Tampa, but also the boundaries are expanding where now you have Ybor and you have Channelside, and I think a little further north than usual, East Tampa encompasses a really large area that has a lot of different people in it.
So, what I think people sometimes forget, this election isn't really about East Tampa, because we're from East Tampa and we think East Tampa. But
Exactly.
District 5 is large.
It is.
We think East Tampa is the heart of District 5, and I like to believe it is. But you have West Tampa, you have Carver City, you got Sulphur Springs, you have um, part of Progress Village, all along that end.
Mhm.
You have down, I can't think of the school down 41. So
Down
it goes.
down
It's a lot of mostly Mexicans in that area.
okay.
But people often forget about that. So if candidates
It
go
doesn't
to
go as far does it go as far as Waimama? No.
no,
Okay.
God, I can't think of it. I can't think of it. I had the list.
Gibsonton,
No, doesn't
Hollow
go that.
Beach. I'm just looking at that area.
Yes, it's a
Alright.
small little area, mostly migrants. It was a school there.
Hmm.
I can't think of it, but
There's
just
Ippolito. Ippolito is high Hispanic.
no
Alright. So, anyway, East Tampa is way larger than just I guess, no, District
yeah,
5 is much larger than East Tampa, and we need to
yes.
keep that into consideration, that
East
it's not
Tampa
necessarily gonna be a Black person.
East Tampa is in District 5. And East Tampa might be the heart of District 5. It has always been the heart of District 5. And they're trying to change it a little, but we have to fight to make sure it stays that way. And
Right,
that,
but East Tampa is also beginning to become gentrified.
oh, yes, yes.
So you've got
Last,
that you've gotta consider that as well.
absolutely, because when they're doing the drawing in the district and the district, I don't know why we would have wanted District 5 would have wanted to be included in downtown Tampa, Channel Side, and all of that, because the majority of the people who's going to be there.
Yeah.
Now it's tens of thousands of people there that will change that directory in really in about 5 years. This won't
Okay.
really necessarily be a black seat.
Yeah, it won't. And there are some white candidates in this list of
Sure.
12. Um,
Absolutely.
let's talk a little bit about who's there. I don't really know who the candidates are. I am seeing some ads or some little podcasters talking about the various candidates, but I think it's going to be really, really important that we um, make sure we're talking about who's running. I do not have a dog in the fight at this time. I am considering some that I've got questions to ask, but it's important that leadership in District 5, I was going to say East Tampa, but leadership in District 5, they have to serve with integrity. They have to keep the people first. And that's hard. It's getting harder and harder for, in my opinion, for political figures who represents the poor or the middle class, lower middle class, to actually keep them first. It's easy for somebody to keep rich folks first. They're the ones controlling stuff, but I'm seeing too many neighborhoods being left behind.
Well, they have been left behind. I grew up in East Tampa, um, but I could say in the 60s and the 70s, East Tampa was a thriving community. We and,
Okay.
and and it was thriving only because everybody at that time was living in District 5. You know, you had very few people in the 70s living in the suburbs. Okay. So that means you had your doctors, lawyers, everybody living
Yeah.
in District 5. So
Yeah.
when that changed, East Tampa changed because, we had everything. It looked
Everything
good
you need.
growing up, huh?
You had
And
what you needed. Yeah.
yes, yes. And we had, you know, our upper class, middle class, working class, and the poor. And we all got along. It was a happy childhood living in East Tampa.
That's
And
really
some
it.
kind of way, by time I really start noticing East Tampa going when Chevrolet dealership left Hillsborough,
Wow.
when um, Firestones, when big companies start moving, Pizza Hut. Um, we had our first hair salon on Hillsborough in that shopping plaza.
Yep.
So East Tampa was thriving, and I don't know
Somebody
why.
said, wasn't there a Publix there at one point?
Winn Dixie, but Publix
I
have
know
always
Winn
been
Dixie was there.
the Publix have always been where it's at now. So there's still a Publix there, mostly in
Okay.
in Seminole Heights, but it was
Right,
always there
right.
on the
Yeah,
crust.
I thought there was one on Hillsborough.
It was one on Hillsborough, but a little west of Nebraska, west of
Mhm.
Nebraska.
Okay.
So yeah, and so we know now in hindsight, it's all this stuff was by design, and this is why I say I was thinking we can no longer go along with symbolism, right?
Ooh, that's a big word.
Because because black people was in politics in positions, they had to be at the table knowing what was going on and believing that this was good for some kind of way. Those people told our people this is good to bring in different income, and that's what they kept telling us. We got to bring in different income. Everybody in East Tampa is making I think they were saying 40,000 or less, and I call that bullshit. No, but when I see what they have brought into East Tampa,
Mhm.
these people look like zombies. They walk in the streets. They're on drugs. Um, I don't see um, a lot of higher income white people coming in to East Tampa. I know there are some because they're buying $500,000 houses now in East Tampa. We got
Mm-hmm.
houses that cost that
Right.
much money, you know.
Right.
But that's only, let's say that's 10 of them. But the rest of the people that they're putting in East Tampa are are not bringing East Tampa up. Because if you're driving around East Tampa and you're seeing people walking the streets, what do they look like to you?
Black people, white people, Hispanic
White people.
people. Who are you talking about? Huh?
White people. That's mostly who I see.
I guess I see on occasion somebody walking their dog or
Still
their
few.
baby or whatever, but I don't see that many. I
Well,
can
I do
tell
because
though.
I'm there every day.
Yeah, yeah, you do. I'm not there. When I get there in the mornings, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah, so
and I'm
nobody's really out. So yeah,
right.
I'm there every day and I'm like, where are these people coming from? I mean, and I do understand like a lot of investors have bought homes and they use them for rehab and they send their undesirables to East Tampa.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm seeing walking the streets. You go up
Hmm.
Hillsborough, the corner of
So
34th, 22nd, 40th Street when I'm leaving work. So and I'm always going the same way. I'm on 40th and Hillsborough. That's
yeah,
where I'm at the most of the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and it does something. So yeah, it's so the candidates, did you pull up their names?
Yeah, I do. I have them here.
And
So
I
I'm
don't know
gonna.
I don't know half of those people.
All right. So the first on the list is Audette Bruce. She doesn't. She filed, but she has no funding at this point. So zero contributions in kind or expenditures. So she may be one that maybe hangs in there or not. But you know what I said? Well, who the heck is Audette Bruce? And let me just read you this. This is an article that might have been in the Tampa Times. Yeah, it was Tampa Bay Times. Audette Bruce, a former policy analyst and speechwriter for the United Nations.
Yeah.
She is white, by the way.
Mhm.
Moved to Florida more than a decade ago. She's worked for former state rep Jackie Toledo and Rep Bernie Jacks or Jaquez. Taking her international, national, and state level experience to Tampa, Bruce said she wants to focus on affordable housing. So, and
Oh,
other
cool.
things, but I'm going to just stop there.
Okay.
So, she's somebody to watch. I think in the forums that come up,
Mhm.
I think what we're looking for someone, I think we're looking for someone with experience, relevant experience. And
Yeah.
because we're talking more about East Tampa than we are about Channel Side and the other areas,
Yeah.
um, somebody who really sees East Tampa as an opportunity to advance East Tampa. Now, I didn't grow up in East Tampa. Um, but I did come to visit my grandmother who lived on 19th and I forget what other street, but we used to have to listen to me. We used to have to go to my grandmother's house.
Yeah.
And we would walk then to Cascade Pool to go swimming.
Yes.
But I'm a Progress Village person, so we would come
Yep,
into
I
East
think
Tampa a
that's
lot.
still District 5.
It is District 5. That's true.
Mhm.
You did mention that earlier. But
Mhm.
so I have an affinity for East Tampa
Yep.
or District 5. And
Sure.
I'd like to see someone who really cares about the neighborhoods where I grew up and where I spent my weekends and visiting my grandparents and a lot of my friends when I went to Brandon High School. A lot of them came out of East Tampa.
Yes.
So yeah, she is definitely one of the candidates that I guess we're gonna have to pay attention to and see where that goes. Now you've got Tom Scott. Give me some thoughts on Tom Scott.
So Tom Scott is a prominent um, pastor in East Tampa. Been here. He was actually my grandmother's pastor and longtime family friend. I've been knowing him, um, most of my life. And he's also now he has experience, of course, because he's also sat on
County commission.
county commission and city council. He was a city council person first. He did 2 terms, and county commission, and he ran for mayor.
A
Now,
lot of experience.
a lot of
Okay.
experience. So,
Hmm.
but what I would say with him, and I don't know, with all due respect, and I have much love for Thomas Scott. We used to go to his church. We would go to his church quite a bit with my grandmother, but definitely after she died, we would go every
Hmm.
Mother's Day.
Hmm.
Um, so, but he feels that he that the district needs him and he wants to run. My thing is where I'm at now. I don't want to really recycle. I don't want to support a recycle, and I want somebody. Although he will be able to hit the ground running,
He
but
would.
you know, I want somebody who I believe that's in good health. I don't know how old he is.
You're
I
assuming
think
that age equates
he,
to not having good
he should
health.
be somewhere ready to retire. I'm not sure. I mean, like you live your life. Live your life.
Yeah.
This is a very stressful job. It
Yeah.
is very stressful. Now we don't know what happened to
Councilman
Councilwoman
Henderson.
Henderson,
Hmm.
but it just made me feel some kind of way. The woman was 60 or 61. I can't remember what they said.
Hmm.
And I have to believe because they said died of natural cause. You just don't die of natural cause, in my opinion. I'm not a doctor at 60, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a very stressful and we're in a stressful climate altogether anyway. Pressure
Hmm.
coming at you everywhere.
Yep.
I take my
Yep.
hat off to these people who want to do that because you have to have a certain type of um, temperament to do this. But you also need to now be young. It's time, I think, that these people need to pass the torch. When we look at the people that's in Congress in Washington,
Hmm.
how do they get it in their mind that nobody else could do this job? They freaking are dying in these seats, and it's messing up the people they represented. It's messing up their district when they do that.
Yeah.
How many people died last year and this year in these seats in Washington and everywhere? They just died.
Yeah, I think it is time for a transition for us baby boomers, if you will, to
Yes,
hand the baton over to the next generation. And I say that from a federal standpoint, but I also say that from a local standpoint as well.
sure.
But it says here in an article, Florida politics, despite being a Democrat, former Governor Rick Scott in 2015 appointed Tom Scott to the Florida Elections Commission. Scott is also the senior pastor of 34th Street Church of God. For those who are listening and may not know him, he holds an undergrad degree from the University of North Florida in criminal justice and corrections. Candidates, there's some other things there, but he is a longtime family friend of ours. And my sister talks to him frequently about what's going on, what's happening, what have you, and um, just a good friend. But I think I agree with you on it's time to hand the baton over. I think he has a lot of support locally. He certainly has name recognition.
Oh,
But
sure.
for me, I think moving to younger, um, more talented group right now is necessary, especially for the Black community. We're going to need that energy. Um, I think when you've been in politics for a long time, you have ties and obligations that may not serve us well today. And putting somebody in there new but with experience and experience, I think, is key. Might be smart on our part as
Absolutely.
African Americans.
Absolutely.
So, so I think we agree on Tom Scott, and Audette. We're not familiar with, but we kind of feel like we want to keep this as close to home as possible. And
Well,
Audette,
listen, our dad, when you read her thing, because I didn't read up on her, and I just put down, she will be someone, if it came down to my top person not in there, the next person from off the top of my head would have been Tom Scott, because, but only because I know him. But now that I did, and when you read that, and I know Jackie, is what we need to go in and take over that seat for the last, I think, 18 months, is someone understand policies and procedure.
and Audette does.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, right.
Okay.
And
And so
I'm not
you're
like I
making
said, I'm not
also,
looking for symbolism anymore, because they'll say, "Oh, well,
okay.
that seat need to be black." Well, it has been black,
That's what
and we
the
are
point I was
still
going to
in the
make.
position that we're in. So I don't really care if it's black. I
Okay.
want to see
Very, very
progress.
important distinction, because that's not necessarily the conversation that is happening around this race. That it's a black seat, so we want to keep a black person in. But you're saying, as Black independents, we're less concerned about race and we're more concerned about the agenda that person holds and their competence.
Yes, I'm not right. I'm not concerned about party or race at
Yeah.
this point. Now, if I have a qualified black person, of course I want that. But I want I want someone who can get the job done. And that's what we have to start moving forward. You go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay, keep that list going.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Ariel Amira Danley. Um,
Is that
Ariel.
Gwen's daughter?
Yeah, so I did find in that same article, Florida Politics, Ariel Amira Danley, daughter of the late Gwendolyn Henderson, is filed to run for her mother's seat. Danley is the business development manager for Gardner's, an English language book supplier, and with her mom co-founded the Black English Bookstore, which elevates Black art authors. She is also a political consultant, having worked to elect her mom in 2023 and on former Senator Janet Cruz's unsuccessful 2023 Tampa City Council bid. Speaking at Henderson's memorial, Danley said her mom made hard work look easy and lamented that there are so many things she won't get to finish on her own. Don't worry, mommy, she says, I'll finish your race too. So
Well,
some people, go ahead.
Janet Cruz, was running with her mother, so I don't know how much she worked on Janet Cruz thing there. Just met. It could be true. What I do know, I don't know much. I don't know anything about her. I did hear her speech at her mother's funeral. She speaks well. I thought it was very nice. And I heard her this past Thursday at City Council. Speaks well. But I don't think for me, it would be no. It would be more of, I
And
believe,
why would it be no?
I don't think she's qualified. And
Okay.
I think it would be more of a sympathy vote.
Okay.
You saw this going around when I can't remember who died in Texas, a black state representative, and her daughter took her seat. Or
Was
her
that
daughter is trying to
Barbara?
take her seat.
Was it Barbara
Uh,
Jordan?
could be, yes.
Yeah.
It's two of them like that, you know.
Yeah.
Now, just because you're with your mom, I don't know if they live. I don't know if she lived together. To me, just no, not qualified to go in there and get the job done right now.
It's
So
kind of like if my mother were a doctor and she died, and I says, you know what, I'm going to go and
I'm gonna
take
take over
over.
her over because we've had these doctors conversations when she come home, or like me, if I
Yeah,
die
I
and
know that's
and
a bit
my daughter
extreme. I
and my
understand,
daughter
but
says, "Oh, I'm gonna go over and take over your customers," so you couldn't do that. But like when
yeah,
my mother got sick, I was able to move in because I've been doing it.
because you were doing it with her, you
I'm
were running that business with your mom.
way since I was
So
14. So
right.
yeah, so with her, and you in our
So
community.
it feels like the experience certainly isn't there, although she has, in addition to the local races, I did not read this piece, but she also served as regional organizer for Kamala Harris in 2024 for the presidential campaign. She has a Bachelor of Fine Arts in playwriting from Howard, and she is a certified makeup artist. So for her, we're saying
And why
no, it
does she want to
seems
do
like,
politics?
huh?
Why does she want to do politics?
Because she wants to finish her mom's legacy.
She could finish her mom legacy at the bookstore. Because this isn't her
Okay.
mother's. This isn't her mother legacy in politics. It's not her mother legacy. She was only there for 2 years,
Yeah.
less than 2 years.
Well,
So,
not so much her mom's legacy, so maybe that was the wrong way. She just wants to finish what her mom started.
and her mom just started the bookstore.
All right. All right. So we're going to move on because I think you are pretty clear on her. Um, let's go to Joanna. Joanna Colbert, is it?
Hmm. I just met her.
I have never met her. I'm aware of her. I was aware of a show. A
Yeah.
show. I didn't know anybody that was necessarily on the show.
Hmm.
She certainly presents well in
Hmm.
terms of, okay, wow, looks like a real mover and shaker.
Impressive. Um,
Okay.
but she too, I don't see in politics.
Okay. So when I looked her up, what came was Instagram, sort of Instagram kind of notations. Yes, I'm running. And it wasn't enough information for me to really get who she was or
Hmm.
where she's coming from, other than the fact that she was on the show and that
Hmm.
she has decided to run.
Well, I got a little information.
She
She
does.
was at.
She does want to focus on Ybor. Um, she only mentioned it in terms of the District 5 neighborhoods or areas. She did
Mhm.
mention Ybor as an area that she wants to focus on, and her thing is real estate, which is good, but
She's a realtor.
huh?
She's a realtor, so
Okay, so
that's what she knows.
that's her thing.
That's her thing.
That's right.
And
So
she did say she sat on the, she has or is sitting on the housing um, board. So for me, I think if she was to get it, she'll be okay. But she wouldn't be able to, in my opinion, um, get in and hit the ground running. By the time the second election comes around, she should have been called up, but we don't have time for that.
So for my question to a lot of them, and I hope if anybody's listening to this, it's my new question for everybody is why. You tell me something,
Yeah,
it's like why. Just
why?
just tell me why. I need to understand why you are saying that and why you think that makes sense or whatever the issue is. And for her, it is why are you running?
Yes.
And
Why do
for
you want to give
some,
up the good life successful life that you were in because you showed no interest really into politics? This is a different game here. And my
Mhm.
question would be, were you planning to run in 2028 if this seat hadn't opened up? And if you say yes, then I'm okay. But if you only decided to run because the seat opened up, then you're not prepared. You wasn't even thinking about it. So if you wasn't thinking about this, that's a
Yeah.
problem. And particularly if you have not been in the community, if you're not prepared, you're not
Yeah.
prepared.
Yeah. And I guess I'd also want to know who's surrounding you. I think I saw a picture on Facebook, if you will, and it was on that Ben Banneker,
Mm.
uh, that Ben Banneker site, and she was with a couple of people who maybe were Republican. Now, again,
Yeah,
as
we don't have a problem with that.
independents,
She
yeah,
was at
as
the event.
independents, we don't have an issue with that. We don't
Hey,
necessarily have an issue with that. And and I'll talk about this later, but um, it doesn't matter that you're a Republican. My question is, it's not so much what type of Republican you are, but
oh yeah, it is
nowadays
a
it
question.
does.
It's a,
I was
I
going to
don't
say
like.
it
I
does.
don't. I'm not
Nowadays, it
dealing
really
with a.
does.
I'm not
Okay,
dealing with.
wait,
I'm
wait.
not dealing with a mega
Before
Republican.
you run away with that, um, the issue was that who was surrounding her, and that's going to be really important for East Tampa, the neighborhood the neighborhoods, excuse me, that we care about.
Sure.
um is she going to take care of them in the way that we think nobody has in the past? And I mean, even those who have sat in that seat in the past, the care that those neighborhoods need has not been there. And
Yeah.
is she the person that's going to step in and step up for, because what she mentioned was Ebor. And
Yes. So
rumor
let me
has
tell
it
you.
rumor has it that she's been sort of steered or pushed to go and sit in that seat. And I want to know who is helping her or pushing her to run for this seat, if that's the case. I don't know that, but if that's the case, these are questions that I have. And certainly if I had an opportunity to ask, I would be asking those things.
Well, by all logic, you will have to come to that conclusion that someone had suggested that she run for this seat. She's never shown any interest. We haven't really seen her to anything. So if she
Who
really,
are the someones that are
yeah,
doing
that's
that?
pushing. So with the picture that's been shown, she's at an event. Now, when we're at events, we're taking pictures with everyone, right? So
No,
I don't really
we're
take.
not taking you
I,
don't take pictures with
I don't,
everyone.
I don't. But she at that time wouldn't know because she's into real estate. So she's looking and she wants to get into development. So I could see her doing that. So I don't take anything, big on that. Now, why I wouldn't want her, um, and a qualification would be she's a realtor, but she's not what East Tampa need is, and I don't know how that AMI works. But when they say affordable housing, it's still not affordable apartments. They're still not affordable to the people who working at Walmart, to the
Yeah.
people who, making what, let's say 30,000
Mhm.
$30,000 or
Yeah.
anything under $40,000. These people are still having a hard time. And
Yeah.
I don't
Very
and
true.
those was not her target people when she was as a realtor,
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
she's
That makes sense.
so that so I wouldn't put her being a realtor on the plus side for East Tampa. Now we'll put that on the plus side for Ybor or anywhere else in District 5. But
Mhm.
Dershow won't be on the plus side for Cepha Springs, Summer Progress Village. Those people need something different. Now,
They do.
it would be nice if these people would know how, because as you are representing District 5, not just East Tampa, you have to be able to decipher and say, we've done this, we got to focus on this, while we're also focusing on the
You
rest of
gotta
the.
be able to multitask.
You
Yeah.
got to be, and that has been, no one has been able to do that. And that's why when you get to my candidate, I'm going to tell you she's going to be able to do it.
All right. So I'm not going to get to your candidate next. I'm going to get to Fran Tate, which I'm assuming is not your candidate.
I like
Fran Tate.
I, I know
let me-
Fran.
All right. I know I'm not Fran Tate said she is running a grassroots campaign and is a fresh voice for District 5. She wants to focus on public transit, housing, and public art. Yay, Fran, in East Tampa. She knows I love that. So she's president of the Jackson Heights Neighborhood Association and coordinator of the Public Safety Crime Watch. She is also a former chairperson of the East Tampa Community Redevelopment Agency's Community Advisory Committee. That was long, of which she remains a member.
That's the same way.
Fran does the work. She's out there.
She's a great organizer. She's great on the ground. But do I think Fran have the temperament to sit on city council?
Okay.
And two, sometimes we could say maybe time has passed you by. You've missed that. She should continue to sit on boards, continue to organize, in my opinion. Sometimes city council starts at 9 and they are still there at 11 o'clock at night.
Crazy. And you don't think she has the stamina for that?
I'm just saying, in my opinion, I don't know. I know I don't. I'd be falling asleep just sitting still, you know. And we're at a certain age, and I'm just saying, why do you want to do that? Why? She's never shown any interest that she wanted to run for office. She could have done this maybe 5, 6, 7 years.
Sometimes people don't necessarily, I mean, especially those who are working in the community steadily, and then an opportunity comes up where it's sort of well, in this case, a special election, and you just decide, you know what, I'm going to run because she does the work already. That's all I'm saying to you. So
but the work that she does,
it's not a part. It's not like some of the younger ones that we've talked about already, who were doing other things, living their lives, what have you, and all of a sudden pivot. She's not necessarily pivoting. She is expanding more so than anything else. Now, I agree with you that Fran would not be the person that I think needs to be in this seat for such a time as this, but I would say that it makes sense for her to decide to run. And maybe the temperament is not right because we're looking for someone with a certain temperament and experience level and all of those things that can go toe to toe with competition for the resources. I think we're looking for somebody who can compete for the limited resources that are out there. And it seems that East Tampa and District 5 generally, Progress Village, Lincoln Gardens, what have you, have been on the losing end. We're looking for a fighter.
There you go. I was just going to say that. I'm looking for a fighter. Now, I don't see Fran as a fighter, but you know, I've known Fran since we used to do phone banking since Obama time.
Okay. Fran's a great person.
Oh, she's a great individual.
I love Fran.
And if she gets in this dog race, it would change her whole personality. It would change her who she is, genuinely is. And do she know policy reading, doing the research? This job require, and who knew? I'm really just finding out, particularly how this works through Orlando, right? Because I could notice a couple of times with Councilwoman Henderson. When she's on that dais, sometimes I could tell she have not fully understood the agenda of what she's talking about at the time. We need someone who's going to dig in there, like, you know, who do research really well on that council and who worked Lynn Hurtak.
Hurtak does. And who else? Carson. And those are the two names that I hear a lot that come from.
And you could tell that they know what they're talking about. And see, like Lynn Hurtak, she has been, like if Stephanie Pointer was to run, she knows the process. She's
Yeah.
been doing that. Same thing
Yeah.
with Lynn. And this is why they're able to run circles around our seat and our person that's in their seat, because they don't understand the 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 policy, the process,
Yeah.
and
And that
they don't
that that
understand the language. And
that
that's
what you just said is the critical piece. We
yes,
do not want the other council members to be able to run circles around
we have to
District
be able to
5
push. We
seat.
have to be able to push back. And not
Yeah.
only that, you have to be able to get these people to vote, because no matter what, who
Okay,
sits in the
so
seat, you got to have
let's I'm gonna give
three
you a
other people
real
to vote.
pushback person. So
Mhm.
Elvis Piggott said one of his priorities as a candidate for Tampa City Council is ensuring residents have a voice in government. Hey, that's what we say. So Elvis said he wants to ensure important issues affecting all residents in District 5, not just those living in certain areas, aren't overlooked, while also carrying on the work of Henderson started. Piggott has been a pastor in the district for nearly 20 years. He's the pastor at Triumph Church in Tampa and said he wants to prioritize community voice and economic opportunity, particularly for young people. He said he also wants to encourage development that's beneficial to residents. Now, Elvis is, I think he was described in another article I read as a perennial, that's my dog, a perennial candidate, which means that he's out there running a lot. Okay, Mo.
Hey
He's out
Moses,
there running a lot. Yeah, he's out there running a lot for different races, but he's definitely a boots on the ground person that's out there a lot with a very, very consistent voice.
yes. So Elvis is a good friend of mine. I've known Elvis since he first was running, I think, for school board. I met him in 2016 when he first was running. So, as I'm not supporting him in this particular race, I have supported Elvis in um, all of his races, but I'm not supporting him in this one.
You are consistent. I haven't supported Elvis in all of his races, but I certainly supported him in his first. I think it was
School
county
board.
commissioner.
County
Yeah.
commission or school board?
I don't think it was school board. I think it was a bigger race than that. He did something one time. Somebody thought I hit their car or something, and he came out of his church because I was there for a meeting. Came out of his church and pretty much told that cop to take a hike. That I told him I didn't do it. Then he needed to believe that and move on. And then he told me, Elvis told me, and just go on, just you fine, just go. And I went and told my
Did you
family
leave?
that. Yeah,
Did you just
I
leave?
went, huh?
Did you just
Yeah,
leave? Okay.
yeah, because it was kind of like obvious that I didn't, and it was obvious to anybody. And Elvis just came and said, "This is nonsense." And I was so impressed with that. Just
Uh-huh.
totally impressed with
He's a
his.
very, very nice young man. But I think moving forward, I'm not going to support any pastors.
Now that's interesting, but I was so impressed with that I went home, told my family, and the whole family voted for him. And then I'd stopped voting for him when I guess he was working on the mayoral campaign and sort of attacked me on a couple. I'm like, hey, we're friends. What's up with that? Yes, I am looking at somebody else, but we're still friends.
you know,
This public attack makes no sense to me.
the
Um, and
only
even
people who
that
the only
that
people
that
who fight
kills
like
me.
that is us, black people. And we're fighting. We would kill a sister or brother for some white person
It's like
who ain't going to give a shit about us once they get in office. I don't
right.
want
So
to
I was
destroy
like,
anybody,
it was
particularly,
weird.
yeah.
It was weird, and I don't think I was able to recover. I have been able to recover since, But I'm polite and whatever else. But I think Elvis has a lot of passion.
He does.
But I want to get to your point that I kind of went and interrupted of, I'm not voting for a pastor. Now, can you elaborate on that? You
Well,
you
yeah,
said,
yeah.
okay.
How can any pastor be in politics? And I'm just getting this way when, particularly because of these national Christians, um, real hard stench Christians. None of them, if they're in politics,
Uh-huh.
live by the Bible. The stuff that you have to do, and you get up there on those in those pulpits and say this stuff, and you're living a different life. Now, I don't go to church. Um, I don't. But if you say you're a Christian, then you couldn't make the decisions you make, no matter what. No
Hmm.
matter what. If you say you following your God, that Bible is saying, and I know the Bible, like I've read the Bible and I can break it down, and it's probably why I just push back from it. You're living and you're doing two different things. That's just, and that's with all of them. Tell
Hmm.
me why you're not going to vote for a pastor.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm not going to vote for a pastor, but I think my tendency is not to. And I have voted for a pastor in the past because, of course, I've voted for Thomas Scott
I voted for
in my
Thomas Scott
past.
every
Yes,
election, and I was supporting him for mayor. And like I said, I voted for Elvis,
right.
and you know, but
But going forward, you've decided that there really is a conflict of interest, it sounds like.
yeah,
And I could agree with that. I could agree with that. But I'm trying to think, would I vote for a pastor who's running for president? Probably not,
oh
because
heck
of
no.
that obvious
Because
conflict.
Elvis,
So why would
because
I vote for
because
a pastor? Well, let me finish my point. But why would I do that for someone who's running for mayor or council seat or commissioner? There has to be a conflict there somewhere.
of
So,
course,
yeah. So I think your argument is on point. So I'm gonna
when
give you.
these pastors aren't out here fighting for the homeless, although Elvis does, and
He
when I
really
talk about
does.
when I
Yeah.
talk about Elvis, I'm talking about what I know. Elvis do fight for the undeserved, for the thing. I don't see any of these pastors doing what they preach on Sunday. I don't see that, and then they're going there and vote against it. We got a housing crisis. We got a lot of stuff going on, in not in just our district, in the
All right.
United States.
I'm going to go through about three of them real fast because these are names that we don't know. And then I want to get to that person that I think you've been itching to talk about for a little while, for
All
quite
right.
a bit. So, Thomas DeGeorge, he's a white guy. And for those who are like, why does she have to say somebody's a white guy or a black guy? I don't have to say black because that's
Well, we
generally
should.
who I talk about. But I remember reading somebody says, black people are always talking about race. They put race in everything. And so I usually like to reply that everything is about race.
Everything is about
Everything
race.
everything that happens in this country is about race. And we can't allow other people to make us think otherwise or be afraid to call it out when we see it. So
Mhm.
the fact that he is white is a part of how he will make decisions,
Sure.
and or black is a part of how he or she will make decisions. So I really want to sort of qualify that it has nothing to do with whether I would vote for him or not based on that. It has to do with um
Just who he
his
is.
background,
Yes.
right? His
Neither
background,
good,
where he
neither
comes
good,
from,
not bad.
and what influences his decision making. So
So
Thomas DeGeorge.
let me say a little about him. I don't know him, but I've been hearing a lot of good things about him.
Well, can you say that after I read what's? Can I read
Oh
it?
yeah.
Yeah, it's like in Ybor City, Thomas DeGeorge is the co-owner and president of the Crow Bar, a live music and events venue. He's chaired the Ybor City Chamber of Commerce and helped raise money in a national campaign to support independent venues during the COVID-19 pandemic. DeGeorge said the city needs rent protection amid rapid development and a rising cost of living. He also said the city needs to address homelessness and mental health issues. What do you know about Mr. DeGeorge?
I was just going to say just that. So I would say no for him, but apparently he's a good guy. For those who know him in the Ybor entertainment, he will fight for that. He knows how to fight for that particular thing. But could he go on city council and be ready for procedures and
All
policy?
of the issues that
All of the issues, and I would have to give him a no. But from what I'm hearing, and everybody who's have spoke of it, love him. He's a nice guy, okay, but nice just can't cut it,
yeah.
because and he wants to fight to survive his livelihood and those surrounding Ybor City. And
Right. And it says
he wants to fight for homeless, and that's good. But
yeah.
it's a hell of a lot more that needs to be done.
Yeah, it says Tom is a business owner and resident in Ybor City. He said he wants to use his personal experience interacting with the government on Tampa's city council. So I don't know him. He is a no for me, just for the fact that I don't,
And
and I agree with you on. I love his passion about Ybor, but I'd like it to and business, but I'd like it to be about and I
and
guess
I
the
would
homelessness. Yeah.
and I would
Okay.
suggest that if he wants to get into politics and all of that, he needs to sit on the Ybor City CRA and
Okay.
figure out how that stuff works.
All right. So Melanie Letitia Williams is a retired lieutenant colonel and Tampa native. She ran an unsuccessful campaign last year for Hillsborough Clerk of the Court and Comptroller. Williams did not respond to emails or seeking comment. Melanie is among more than 10 candidates running. So very little information on Melanie.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know Melanie.
I don't know Melanie, and I don't even recall seeing her name on the thing. Melanie, she black
Yeah,
or what?
she's black.
Okay,
I don't
she
either. So I'm going to go to Little Miss Naya. And I hate that I said Little Miss Naya. I take that back.
well, she's a young. She no,
She is
that's
young, but I don't want to diminish her, her run. So Naya Almaz Young. Naya Almaz Young has worked in public service for years. She said she would spend summers at her grandmother's house, canvassing around the neighborhood, encouraging people to vote, and attending neighborhood civic association meetings. Naya Young said her background as a grassroots advocate have prepared her for this campaign. Young said she wants to focus on youth opportunities and neighborhood economic growth. I almost think she should join Florida Rising.
yes. And I was going to say, Naya, no, you have not. It is the same thing. If my daughter was to say, she says,
Yeah.
"Oh, mom, I remember when I used to go to Bob Buckhorn and help send out mailers." She was with my mother.
Mm-hmm.
She would
Exactly.
do the things. She has been with us with Obama, um, but for you just to turn up and say, "I'm going to run for city council," mm-mm.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
you got to get on some
If
boards.
she runs,
You got to be the president of your um, neighborhood association. You got to do some things, But I do like the courage that she's willing to do it. I don't
I,
like when they say she shouldn't do it. I don't. I
I
think she
think she
should go her
should.
way.
I think she
Absolutely.
should. And she should start getting her bona fides in terms of experience.
Yeah.
I think it will be a great experience for her for the next time, and it will
Yeah.
teach her. She will learn what's important
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and begin working and focusing on that. So when I said earlier, I think she should join Florida Rising. She would
Absolutely.
really join an organization. It could be any organization, and really start understanding what the issues are. She comes from a very active family in terms of community. Lena Young
Hmm.
Green, and her father being with the school district at a very high level. Um, she comes from an awesome family, is what I'm going to say. But
Absolutely.
run, Naya, run
Yes.
and get that experience, and
Mhm.
we will see you in a few years for what you decide you're going to do, run for next. So,
And you
um,
know what? I agree. Any young person who wants to get in an organization, out of all of them, say the Black Caucus, even the Democratic or the NAACP, Florida Rising by Four is the most um, action, you know,
yeah, yep.
more involved, more constantly doing things.
Where
So
you're
that
also learning. You're also learning, not just at a
and you can
local
learn,
level, but at a state
right,
level.
and you can learn, yes, and you can get in positions. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah, that's a good point.
All right. So Daryl Ashley Dudney, business owner Daryl Ashley Dudney, who goes by Ash, is making his first foray into politics to represent the district where he grew up. He said he's interested in supporting small businesses, ones that make under a million annually, addressing homelessness and boosting public transportation. Now, he is a white guy. He's standing here with a football in his hand, looking really cool. But it's a no for me for experience.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't sound. Um, yeah, it probably be a no for me on him.
Yeah. And I think I have gotten everyone but one person. Let me just make sure. Um, so I'm going to go with somebody who I'm going to give you the floor on in just a second. Just why don't I see her here? Huh, that's kind of interesting. Okay. So, last person is Allison Hewitt. Um, this position is has nothing to do with party affiliation necessarily. But everybody understands that the party kind of gives you an indication of where that person's votes will lean. And so it becomes important, although party affiliation is not something attached to this this um, this seat. So Allison Hewitt is the president, CEO of Allison Hewitt and Associates. I had to pull her information from somewhere different because I think she got in last. So she wasn't in the same group of same article that I was looking at. So
Because you know
Allison,
she was supporting Orlando Goose, and so when he dropped out, she was our
all right,
second choice.
yeah, okay. So Allison, the president and CEO of her own a company, is a hands-on community development leader that possesses a wealth of practical business experience and a fresh vision for individuals interested in developing and growing their own businesses and bringing meaningful change to communities. Ms. Hewitt is responsible for retaining and recruiting businesses to help expand a community's business climate and increase investments in local neighborhoods. She has worked on large scale developments, has experience in public funding projects, including grants, and knows how to partner with the private sector to get projects done. Ms. Hewitt has over 20 years of successful economic development and community affairs management experience, including as the executive director for the state of Florida's Office of Urban Opportunity in Tallahassee, Florida. Hewitt implemented business assistance programs to over 200 businesses, marketing, branding, strategies, public outreach, and surveys, and other strategic plan activities. Okay, I'm going to stop that and ask you. I got to attend to this dog. Tell me some thoughts on Miss Allison Hewitt.
Well, I was going to say, just by her resume alone, nothing more needs to be said. We know that by that resume, Allison is ready on day one.
Ooh. You
It,
think that she will be ready on day one?
She is the only person, I believe, from...
Who knows Allison? Nobody knows Allison.
Well, Allison is more like a behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes. Uh-huh.
She write policies, she read policies. People know Allison.
Okay, but your average voter out there will not know Allison.
Yeah.
I am aware of Allison.
And this is why, yeah, we have to put her out there. But what I'm saying is, when we vote for people who we know, or they're part of certain groups, like the white guy for Ebor, those people will vote for him because of that, which they don't really understand. By doing that, voting for our friends or voting for people we know has really hurt District 5. Instead of getting the most qualified person. It's not taken away from anybody who's running, but to get the most qualified, who will be... Now, we can't say that she can't be compromised. We like to believe that she will not be compromised, okay? But to get... all I do know, that she is ready when they swear her in the very next week. When she hit the dais, she's going to talk like she's been sitting there. When that agenda comes out on Friday, I think the agenda comes out for the next week, every Friday or Monday. I don't know when it comes out, but the agenda is so long. So you got to be able to be focused on reading and studying, doing your research when you get ready for
and that's what she's going to do. And
that's exactly what she's going to do. She's going to understand it. She's going to be able to pick it apart. And she's going to be able to ask questions, and she's going to say, hey, community, this isn't good for us. Or, hey, community, this is good for us, and here's why. And that is how we have to move forward. We can't expect these people, these young people, or half of these people to get up there and do that. It's just not going to happen.
I agree with you. I think that in terms of being most qualified, she's very qualified. I think Tom Scott is also very qualified. But now what we need more so than just being qualified is the ability to both will hit the ground running. Would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that she's bringing more so that we need right now than perhaps he is? Because both are qualified, both will hit the ground running. But what is it about what Allison Hewitt will do that gives you some comfort to say she's my person?
New perspective, being that she has written policies for different entities, being that she has worked for the government. I think her
she's worked for the government, you said?
Government, yes.
Okay.
She worked for Jack Bush in his office. I think her qualification definitely supersedes Scott.
Okay.
Okay. I think her qualification, and the first lady you read, who worked for Jackie.
Audette.
There's
Mhm.
about this, you know,
So
I
now,
would go with
so you've got people who have experience beyond local, but these are folks who are policy wonks, if you will.
and that's what I'm looking for now. Tom Scott, yes, he has the experience at sitting at these tables or sitting on city council. I, um, over that, I won't say that because I think as long as they've been in office, and I know what he has done. He started
Mhm.
the I don't know if he started it, but he was a part of doing the CRA. But it's certain things when these people was there, like closing down I-4, getting off on 34th
Ooh,
Street, getting
yeah,
off on 40th Street.
that was
You were at
crazy.
the table on these things, and it destroyed our family, our communities, closing us in, not bringing us to the table, not asking for input, um, being maybe convinced by FDOT that this should happen,
Yeah.
regardless rather what we wanted or don't want. Um, those kind of things. And so a lot of things just happen under them. And I don't know if it was intentional or they didn't know how to really understand it.
Okay. So Allison Hewitt, which most people do not know, but I would really encourage you to get to know her. She is, from our perspective, and I'm going to agree with you on this one, Mona. She is one that we should pay attention to in this race. If you aren't interested in the flash, but you're interested in someone who's doing the real work, she will do the real work. Now, she does live in East Tampa as well, has lived there for, I don't know, over 20,
And
maybe
she's born,
30 years.
no,
Huh?
she's born in East Tampa.
The
Um,
Hewitts off of MLK.
yeah, her mother, father,
I
you know,
remember that beautiful house that
no,
had the
no,
window.
yes.
That's who that is.
Yes. She
OMG.
with the same the clever part of listen, Allison is a homegrown East Tampa. She is
She
rooted in
They
this
had
community.
the most beautiful house at the time,
Yes,
the most beautiful house in East Tampa to me that was so unusual and so
yes,
modern for the times.
yes,
And I always wondered who lived there. And then later I find out that's where Allison Hewitt used to live. And it's like, oh my God.
yes. And her mother,
And
her
she's
mother's
a
still
rat.
lives there.
I think she's a rattler.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So, she's rooted, people know her, she's homegrown, and she's committed to East Tampa, but not only East Tampa, she's committed to District 5. Because look, when we have family coming in town, I love taking them downtown. I everybody wants to go downtown, Chandler, all of our what is going on because in the 80s, by the time we got going, it was nothing. We had nothing. So yes, we like the progress that the city is going in. We just don't like being left behind. So I
Right,
need
because
someone who
because because she has had a state purview, she has had responsibility that caused her to look at from a statewide level.
absolutely,
It will
absolutely
be nothing for her to look at District 5 and look at and be sure that all the neighborhoods
all
are
the stakeholders,
represented.
all the
Yeah, I
stakeholders
like that.
are benefiting, and that is all that we're seeing. Why how we have not held these previous and present mayors accountable is unbelievable to me. Even these people who sitting on city council, the mayor just did the budget. East Tampa was nowhere in there but Fair Oaks. We're gonna have to pay out of our ass for the next 20 years because we finally got something feral. In the last 30 years, nothing has happened in East Tampa, but they
Right.
don't give you feral, so you're not gonna get no. Every neighborhood needs to be getting a percentage of that budget and making sure something new is happening in our areas as well.
Yeah.
District 5 just was not in their budget. District 5 might have been in the budget. Yeah, old District 5 was in the budget because downtown, all of that was in the budget. But East Tampa, except for Springs, not in the budget. And
Yeah.
I'm saying I want to fight her to say, listen, we're gonna push back on that. I gotta give my East Tampa something.
That's true. I think in terms of recreational things, you guys, I get it. I get it. Even Progress Village got this little water park thing. They
Yep.
got something recently. We need to also focus on our business districts. We need to focus on 22nd could be a great extension coming out of Ybor, connecting it to Hillsborough with vibrant businesses. And I'm like, why isn't anybody doing anything about the eyesore on 22nd? So when we talk about our neighborhoods, we need to talk about the economic development as well. We don't have it necessarily.
And that's where, okay, so Tom Scott said he did the CRA. And CRAs have been in for 20 years, and East Tampa is the first. Every CRA areas are progressive, but East Tampa, you have to ask yourself why. Why? They keep changing the policy. Why?
There's
Well,
that question, why?
when you was there, the first thing you should have said, we will make 22nd like Central used to be. That's our like hub, like Main Street. You see how they're really changing Main Street. Now I don't know why. We do have thoughts on why, but we need a fighter because he just left the job undone. When they first came in, they were doing stuff that I believe that the city should have been doing, not the CRA. The city started the CRAs, and then they didn't want to give any more money to the district, but nobody pushed back against that.
Okay.
So that's why I say we need fresher eyes, and we need someone
Fresh
who's gonna understand.
We need policy wonks. So
Absolutely.
you mentioned Bill Carlson, and you also mentioned Lynn Hertek. I think that and I'm not sold necessarily on Miss Hewitt at this point. Although it may sound like it, I do have a major question that I still have to ask her, but it sounds like she would fit in that circle.
Sure. And
they could build a coalition of oh my God, that could be really major. And I think we need to be thinking about the current makeup of the council and who we need to add to that council so that when decisions are being made, that you've got at least three people who will likely align in supporting whatever your issues are.
And I forgot to say Alan Clendenin, the chair, he knows his stuff too. You could tell. You could just see that they understand what they're talking about. They're able to question the presenter, pushing deeper, getting what we're thinking at home. Because I'm saying, hey, that doesn't sound right, and I can always count on one of them getting to. Now they don't. Of course, you don't want to badger the presenter, but half the times they're bullshitting them anyway. So, yeah. So what I do know.